on your mind. But otherwise, let's get ready to rumble. Welcome to Forex.Today, the YouTube community of more than 20,000 foreign exchange traders. We gather here today to conduct technical and fundamental analysis with the overriding goal of planning our trades in advance. Let me remind you that trading is risky, not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results. Please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term. Never, ever, ever risk money you cannot afford to lose. Huh? Hey, good morning. How's it look? It's okay? British banker? Hey, I got my buy and sell on. I used to have a bunch of other cufflinks. I don't know where they are. I guess they're in my suitcase, I think. Bulls and bears. I have stock charts that say buy and sell. But anyways, got these on. Anyways, look, I'm trying to look pretty for you. So anyways, thank you for being here. We'll take a look at the dollar pairs, the yen pairs, maybe. I don't know, maybe. We'll look at gold, oil, Bitcoin, S&P 500. Let me know how it can help. What's on your mind? What are you using as your canary in the coal mine? I asked you to fill out a poll, Bitcoin, oil, gold, or S&P 500, because you need a reason to be trading one way or the other. I'm a macroeconomic trend trader, so it really comes down to one question. Risk on or risk off? Okay. Usman fell into my trap. Usman says, do you think Bitcoin will blah, blah, blah? I don't think. I only have analysis, and if I pull up a chart, there's no reason to think anymore. You don't look at a chart and think. So you look at a chart and you do the analysis. It's either bullish or bearish. There's no thought process. It's purely mechanical. Your thought comes from the fundamentals. So anyways, we'll cover that. We'll get there, Usman. Why don't you tell me your opinion, and then I can look at it from your point of view. Much more interesting. Never ask another trader what they think. When I visited the floor of the S&P 500 in Chicago, I went to also the 10-year T-note pit because the guy that invited me there, that's what he did. He was a professional trader of the 10-year T-note. And we were looking at all the orders on the screen, and he's like, they're all nonsense. He's like, they're all just head fakes. As soon as you get into a millisecond of hitting an order, all the orders disappear. So he's like, all those are nonsense. And then when you walk around and you talk to your other fellow, floor traders, hey, so what do you think today? What are you long or short? He says, everybody lies. So people don't really do it. They just kind of go around, and it's just more like giggling with the girls, right? But you would never actually ask another trader an opinion. So don't worry about my opinion. I'm much more interested in your thought process, and we can discuss it intellectually. And from there, you could derive your own decision. That's much more interesting. So anyways, we'll get there. So while you're here, in the description below, there's a link to my book, Strategic and Tactical Forex Trading. There's a link to my community, fxbootcamp.com. There's a link to free training courses on the FX Bootcamp YouTube channel. By the way, I think we decided to do a watch party on the FX Bootcamp. We just need an hour and a half. Yeah. There's a speech by Milton Friedman that I think you guys should watch, because Milton Friedman was talking in the 70s about very similar economic policies that led to very similar problems with inflation that we have now. So I'm going to set that up, but it's an hour and a half, but it's actually quite good. So anyways, pay attention. So if you're a subscriber at the FX Bootcamp YouTube channel, like you are here, well, then you'll be notified. And then lastly, you're a trader, you're going to need a broker. ECN, STP. The STP part means straight through processing. Your trade goes immediately into a pool of liquidity partners in the interbanking system. There's no dealing desk. There's no B-booking. There's no broker trading against your positions. If you like that business model, tradersway.com is the ECN and STP that I recommend. They earned my loyalty and respect many, many, many years ago through their actions, and you saw it. You saw that their model is legitimate because when the Swiss National Bank pulled their peg and surprised everybody, there were non-dealing desk firms that went out of business. Why? Maybe they were trading against their clients. And then you have a boutique foreign exchange trading firm like Traders Way, and they weren't negatively impacted at all. That the traders asked, right? Their clients, their traders asked to either be long the Swiss national, the Euro Swissy or not Euro Swissy. That's a decision for the trader. And so the broker was never at risk. You never had that counterparty risk. If you made a bad trading decision, that's your fault. It's in the interbanking system. That's the consequence. But at least your broker wasn't trading against you. And that's how Traders Way earned my respect. Just, right? Like a crack of a whip. Okay? Tradersway.com, links in below, or just go to tradersway.com. Okay? Is that right, Denise? In the 87 crash. That's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah. Well, I got some questions for you then. All right. So here we are. I want to show you that dollar is strong today. But before we go any further, sort of what else is going along with that. So let me drop my WTI and zoom in a little bit. And it's been more bearish than bullish, and the dollar's strong. Gold has come down. Remember, we set this up. Now we're through the ribbon and using the ribbon from bearishly. Okay. So that's also risk off. Interesting. S&P 500. Okay. Bearish, or at least back to the moving average. So far, it's been bearish today. You can see basically a head and shoulders off of our projected high. I did this last night, showing the direction of a trend, a potential channel. So you got to kind of look at this now and see if it can sustain a lower low, right? Lower high, lower low off of that. But nonetheless, this move down, risk off. Gold coming down, risk off. Oil coming down, risk off. And for the first time in a while, first time in a while, the dollar's been strong in the risk-off mode. We haven't had proper correlation for a couple of weeks now. So very interesting. I don't know if it's going to last, but that correlation is right as rain. Taking a look at the poll. Thank you for answering, by the way. I appreciate that. Okay, this research is statistically relevant. We have significantly more than the minimum for statistical relevance. Okay, and pretty much split S&P 500, WTI, gold. Okay, good. Okay, another thing that I'm paying attention to is like things like copper, lithium, cobalt. Maybe more important in the future than gold. Is anybody investing into lithium? Huh? Anybody investing into cobalt or lithium? Maybe some copper? Copper is always copper, right? But lithium is newer and cobalt's even newer than that. Okay. Well, everybody, we're talking about whether this dollar strength will last. I'm kind of more like where Darko mentioned this last night and then earlier today. Could just be profit taking on the short run of dollar weakness. But if the dollar wants to remain weak another month, it has permission to do so. Okay. So it was 40 degrees last night here in Georgia. Went even colder, went down into freezing. So there's like frost on the Porsche this morning. And last night, 10 o'clock at night, freezing cold. I'm in the hot tub with my wife. Talking about, she says, I think maybe we should sell some of our stock positions. I'm like, I love you. And so we were talking about just that question. Okay, should we sell some of our investments? And I said, well, baby, I think we got 3 or 4 more weeks of things doing relatively okay, and then we'll dump it. And she said, yeah, well, that makes sense, but I'm going to start looking at things. I'm going to start looking. What should I sell? What should I sell? I'm like, how cool is that, huh? That's how you do it. That just makes me so happy. All of it's cool. Huh? What? You want to see a picture? No, my wife's not there anymore. That's me in the middle of the night smoking a cigar in the hot tub all by myself. Nice, huh? 40, it was, I think at that point it was 38 degrees. 38 degrees and falling. And if you're not American, what that means is almost freezing. Yeah. So that's how you do it, right? Lucas says, yeah. Well, but Lucas, over many years, we've had, lots of little conversations that have built up. And so that's kind of just where we are now, which is great. So it wasn't sort of an instantaneous thing. For many years, actually, my wife and I didn't talk about trading because it was too much pressure on me to report to a boss every day. How'd you do? Oh, I lost money today. What? You worked for 13 hours and you lost money? Oh my God, right? Now all of a sudden, like it was just one level too much of pressure. So we never, for many years, just never talked about it. And just at the end of the year, there was just a giant tax bill. Oh, I guess it was a good year. Darko says small things in life like that make you happy, right? Yeah, well, you know what? That's what I was thinking at the time. Because we were kind of talking about this yesterday, sort of indirectly, money doesn't make you happy. But that made me happy. Yeah, that made me happy. My daughter even joined for about, 20 minutes. She was studying and we're like, hey, we fired up the hot tub. She's like, oh, really? Right? Boom. She's like, how much time do I have before it gets hot? And you're like, 20 minutes. So she studied another 20 minutes and then jumped in the hot tub. That's how you do it. Freezing freaking cold though. Anywho. So taking a moment is all it is. Okay. Taking a moment, having some time to think, having time with your family, having time to let down your hair. That's what brings you happiness. So anyways, very cool. All right. So look, Okay? A podcast on happiness? That sounds stupid, Kevin. Just joking. Oh my God. I don't want to talk to happy people. I don't trust happy people. What are you selling? Drugs or Jesus? Which one? I get cranky. Be careful, nice people. All right. So, look, so we have to decide the rest of the day. Does it stay? Richard's like drugs. We got, is risk off going to stay longer or is it gone, right? Leon says, hey, the data since Tuesday is backing up for the dollar. We're going to have a long drop for the next week. Maybe, but the thing is, I would kind of disagree with that. I think there was some profit taking around. By profit taking, I mean buying dollar. So imagine you had a portfolio of US dollars and we get inflation data that shows that maybe we've hit peak inflation, or probably we've hit peak inflation, and that a slowdown and an eventual change of the Fed policy is about to happen. Okay, what's the instant reaction to that? Well, let me bring up my super secret. Hang on. Let me bring up my super secret fundamentally based alert service. Let me log into the database. Remember, it's a database, not a website. Okay, it's actually calculating. Calculating. Doing the calculations. Let me just skip right over to the 10-year T-note. Okay. We'll load it. And look what happened. We had a long and steady trend this way. And then an immediate and dramatic pachow. You see that? And look at seasonality. Okay, look at this since July, just craziness. And then snap, 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 snap. Okay, so it's like, what does that mean? What it means is people change their portfolio on that data point. So Leon says, well, I think since Tuesday, that's backing up the dollar. Actually, there's a lot of different things that happen then. One of them, as I just showed you, yields dropped in the United States. Dramatically, in fact, from on the 10-year 4.2 all the way down to 3.8. What does that mean? Investors bought the 10-year T-note. They didn't own it before the news. Now they own it. Why? Does anyone want to guess? Why would a portfolio manager make a change to their portfolio like that? There you go. Sorry, I was buying cigars too. Why would they do that? Because the minute it occurred, so interest rates came out, you can see they kind of were front running here. People started to buy the 10-year T-note, okay, right around the election, right around CPI, and they were able to guarantee themselves more than a 4% return every single year. Guaranteed. And part of that decision-making process is that's peak inflation, essentially, okay? And after that, let's say in 3 years from now, remember this is a 10-year T-note, in 3 years from now, so in 1,000 days from now, inflation will be less than 4%. Under 4%, okay? Little I, is equal to less than 4%. Which means in real terms, they're making money again. So they're able to, let's say, avoid a stock market crash. What if you thought next year was going to be like this in the S&P 500? Well, buy this, be guaranteed 4%, and watch all your comrades with a negative 15, another negative 15 year. Back-to-back negative 15 years. Meanwhile, you're like, yeah, well, I only made 4% profit. Okay? That's the differential there is almost 20%, right? So that's what happened right around the election, right around the CPI. Even after CPI, it's come down even more because now people are almost FOMO, right? The yield has dropped right below 4% very significantly on its way to 3.5%. And that means there's a rally in the bond market. But that whole time, the US dollar weakened. So what do we know about that? Foreigners are not buying the 10-year T-note. They're also, the yield on the 2-year is still over 4%, and 10 years dropped below 3.7, or around, we're right now currently 3.766. This is a live price. Okay? So why? Why is the 2-year above 4? Because in 2 years, we're still going to be, okay, inflation will probably be above 4. So the duration, right, is changing people's opinion. Inflation's coming down, but won't be dramatically better in 2 years. We'll still have pretty high inflation. One way of looking at it is maybe in 2 years we should be back to about 4, is what the market is trying to say. So anyway, so while so in periods of time when you would expect the dollar to be strong, it just wasn't. And I think a lot of that was profit taking post-election. Today we have found out that Republicans have won control of the House. Okay? Has she officially backed out? I knew it was coming, but I don't know if she actually did her speech. Okay. Hey, look, after someone broke into her house and threatened her family, I don't blame her, actually. So she has done it. Yeah, I knew it was coming. I thought actually she might stay, despite being a minority leader now. But whatever. I don't blame her. Okay. So anyways, so that could be part of what's going on now, where the relief rally is over and we go back into sort of a stagnation in Washington, D.C. And if dollar strength does return, that kind of makes sense. But I don't want to read too much into it because based on seasonality, it gets weak anyways. Powell's not part of the government, Mahir. Okay? The chair of the Board of Governors is appointed by the President of the United States, confirmed by the Senate, and has an 8-year term. Or is it 10-year? 10-year term. So that they outlast any president. Okay? Yeah, but all I'm saying is it's above all that, Mihir. So it wouldn't be wouldn't be an issue. Now, the Senate is going to be controlled by Democrats. The House is going to be controlled by the Republicans. What does that mean? Well, no laws are going to be passed, but now the Republicans have powers that they didn't have before. And it has to do with the committee system. Okay? Oh, did I say it backwards, Meta? Yes, Senate has the Democrats, right? Republicans control the House. So there's not going to be any new laws. But on the committees, Republicans now have power. And they can do things like impeach Biden. And they could put a case together to say he ruined the economy by borrowing too much money and giving it away for free. That he put the government in jeopardy by tapping the SPR by 50%. And pulling out of Afghanistan the way he did was a debacle. Okay, they could put a thing together and say, we want to impeach him. Hey, it happened to Trump, it happened to Obama, it happened to Clinton, it happened, it goes to everybody, right? And it happened to Bush, right? So now they have the power to do stuff like that. And before they did it. Okay? Right, Jim says they have better control of the purse strings, and the purse strings are all done through committee meetings, right? Right, so you're totally right. So anyway, things can change. Trucking Mogul says an impeachment would be a waste of time and money again. Yeah, doesn't mean they won't do it. I'm not predicting they will, but I think almost every single administration has been faced impeachment, right? So it's just, but that's what the government does. Okay, so anywho, so just so for those that don't know, now you know. All right, so let's go through some of these charts a little more. Okay, so we did this yesterday and the day before, in fact. And now we have a confirmed rollover. Okay. Darko, the best case scenario for Republicans in the Senate is to tie 50-50, but then the vice president is the tiebreaker, so it doesn't matter if it's 50-50, 40, right? It doesn't matter if it's 50, 40, 30. It doesn't matter. You don't have control, you don't have control. All right? They can make a coalition. They don't do that here. It's not that type of government. There's no coalitions. Okay. In the parliamentary system, that's how that works, but that's not what is here in the United States. So anyway, so we definitely have some gold off. Technically, you can see the moving averages have rolled over. The ribbon is rolled. We have, okay. We have the new lower low. Meta says, yeah, a Democrat could vote for a Republican initiative or vice versa. It's pretty rare. It's pretty rare. But yeah, it's a free country. Okay? But yeah. All right. What's the analogy we use to describe what we just saw here? In fact, we talked about this exact pattern last night. If you're in the day trading group, it's exactly what we talked about. What analogy do we use? Forex reverses like an old man easing into a hot bath or a hot tub. Okay? And we literally talked about this exact pattern last night, and I drew it like this. New lower low relative to that low, back up, and that would be the sell. It's in my book from 2008. The exact chart looks like this. Okay? So again, last night we talked about this. This is the big red flag, 100% retracement. Okay? No joke. This is what we did last night. I went through the pattern here, and we were here, and I said, okay, there's the down, the up, and that's the sell. There was right? We said this was sort of a very risky type sell. You could sell it here. I said that there could be something like this before the break, and that would be a better sell. And that this is the obvious, this is the good sell. And so, okay, that's where we are. Okay. There we are. Okay. So the two most important parts of this chart is this move and this move. Okay. The fact that this is 100% retracement, okay, from top to bottom, that's a huge red flag. Again, I have a chart that looks almost exactly like this in the book, the chart, and I'm explaining the same chart. So this 100% retracement sets up the potential for a reversal. Okay? Aaron says you usually like a ship tanker. Yeah, I actually use that analogy in the book too, but that one is less memorable. Okay? All right, the second most important thing is this move down. Not that this is a sell and you should have known to sell, although you could, dude, you could sell a triple top. You could, okay? But it's the low, and this is what we were talking about last night. I was talking about if we made that low lower than this low, then it's going to set up a lower high. Okay? And that's that. That's that. That's it. Okay? Look at this. So it's a new test. So you're probably going to look at this. Okay, maybe this one again. Okay, so let me kill everything else. What's next? Okay, if you were a bear, you're probably going to do something like this. Or if you're a bull, you're going to try to bring this pattern up. Which one are you? Don't ask me which one's going to happen. I don't know that. The difference is whether you are a bull or a bear. That's it. And even if you're a bull, that's a very dangerous trade as a bull. I don't think I would do that if I were me. Okay. Ahmed, the difference is peak inflation on CPI. Okay. Remember, that's the thing we were waiting for. The next thing would be a pause by the Fed, but that's not going to happen until the end of next year or middle of next year. Okay. So Bitcoin has got so bad now because of FTX. Harvard billionaires, the Winklevoss twins, are in trouble. They have a business that lends people money against their crypto. So you don't have to sell your crypto, you can just borrow money. Well, the thing is now people's crypto is worth practically nothing compared to what it used to be. And so now, guess what? People can't afford to pay them back. Nothing worse than, I used to be a billionaire, but now I'm broke. Huh? The Winklevoss twins, I don't know if they could live broke. Winklevoss twins. The Winklevoss twins. No, not the girls from Full House. You're like, they're pretty. It's weird. Anyways, Winklevoss twins. Have you guys noticed, or is it just me? Maybe I got some glitch somewhere. I open up Google. Google gives me a search result. And like, I want to show you an image of the Winklevoss twins. So I click images. And then all of a sudden it opens up Bing, which is a Microsoft product. But anyways. Winklevoss twins. Do these guys look like they know how to be poor? There they are in their Harvard regalia. These guys couldn't survive. What are they going to do if they don't have billions of dollars? I feel bad for them. I mean, it's bad enough they have ugly girlfriends. It's bad enough. I mean, gee whiz, ugly girlfriends and they have to be poor? Anyways. What are they going to do? Okay. So anyways, Bitcoin not going up. Not going up. You can see my price action pivot points. Now, lots of traders are scratching their head. And they're like, how come it stopped falling? How many people here believe that it could possibly be the annual pivot points? Let me back up now to the daily. Check that out. That's the projected low for Bitcoin this year based on annual pivot points. The next low, and I pointed this out a week ago, 6,400 is the next number. The number 6,400. But check that out. How amazing is that, huh? Central pivot point. Okay. At 50,000. Actually 49,000 change. And now here we are at 16. What do you think? Random? Look at this. These were random. This was random. Hey? And now that's random, huh? Lucas says that Bullard agrees with me. By the way, last night somebody else said that too. Somebody else said that. I forget who it was. Was it Mester? Mester said about the same thing. Was that right, Denise? That's interesting. Yeah, I have a professional account at Coinbase, but every time I get something, I convert it and I take it out. Seems strange to me that people would like this. It seems strange to me when after this period here, people put their Bitcoin into cold storage and hold it. Why? Right? Basic analysis says if this was going up, it was supposed to happen in this period. Because they didn't make yet another decision, right? This is a basic decision here as an investor. If you didn't make an investment decision here, it cost you 50% of your money because you couldn't make a decision. At some point, you're not going to make a decision. So now that it's at 16,000, give it to me. I'm going to put it in cold storage. Cold storage? You should have put it in the meat locker a long time ago. But don't worry about Kathy Wood. She'll still have a Rolls Royce after her fund collapses. She'll still have a free Peloton. While their investors have lost everything. Okay, my oh my WTI. So gold obviously down. Bitcoin obviously down. This will be another one to watch. Today will be oil. And this is my line in the sand currently on the 1 hour. Okay, that's actually a sell. You can kind of look at it this way if it's easier. Okay, kind of like that. And so there's two lines that I'm paying attention to, of course. Okay, one line is this. Okay, the other line is this line. Okay, and it's representing the much longer term view of the trade. It's not calculating price action. It's not there to say if you hit the price, sell it. It's showing you that, you know, you're setting up bearish trades if you're below it. That's all. Okay. And so what you're supposed to be doing is you know, when you get this low, you mark it. Okay. Why do you mark it? Because later it was the sell. Okay. Then you grab this line. Okay. And that might be the sell. Okay. So. Maybe. And then it's like, not that it will fall, but if you were going to sell it, that's probably how you would do it. Okay. But remember, you never know right or wrong. Never ask that question. Okay. Which one's going to happen? Is it going to fall? Nobody knows. Stop asking that question. But if you were going to sell it, that would be a good price. And if we were above this area, then technically speaking, that's a very interesting, important level of change where you'd probably get something more like this next. But we don't have that set up, so don't worry about it. Make your frickin' trade. Pardon my French. Yeah. Thank you, Lion. All right. What do you want to do next? I guess we should very quickly put it back on the S&P 500 for direction. Huh? Is that the 200? No, it's a 55. 200 is break even. I'm not interested at the fair market value. Okay, Ahmed? All right. So we are on my support in a bearish move. Okay. So what does this mean? What does it mean? Well, depends your point of view. Bears are selling. There's no doubt about that. Do they sell at this price? No. Is it going to fall further? Probably not. So how does price fall further if bears don't sell it? Bulls get knocked out. Bulls get stopped out. Bulls cancel their orders. It's up to bulls now to buy it or not buy it. This has nothing to do with a bear. If you were a bear, you should have done something hours and hours and hours ago, maybe a day ago, maybe a day and a half ago. How could you possibly show up now at the market open in New York and now you want to decide to sell it? Seriously, that's embarrassing. Your mother would yell at you. No child of mine ever sells at support. Like, gee whiz. Oh, but Mom, I don't plan. I just chase price around. Okay? No. So there's nothing a bear can do. Nothing. Even if price falls from here, lots of red candles, it's not a bear. It's only bulls. Red candles don't mean bears, always. And green candles don't always mean bulls. Stop thinking that way. That's not how it works. Okay? So the only person in control right now are bulls. So if bulls decide to buy, they're going to buy it here. I put this up yesterday, by the way. Good. Now, what would a bear do then? A bear is going to look at where all the old support was, and they're going to sell at resistance. Why? That's what bears do. Where else would a bear identify a place to sell? How about here? So there's two plans for the day for a bear. Bears, that's how you trade. Enough said. Drop the mic, walk off stage left. Models and bottles. Okay? Bulls, you either buy here or you don't buy here. And if you get stopped out, this is what's going to happen. But it has nothing to do with bears. The floor has fallen out of the market. That's it. It has nothing to do with bears. And I know newer traders do not think this way. So I hope it's an eye-opener. I hope you get it. I hope the hammer clicks and you have an aha moment where you have a breakthrough understanding what your chart is saying. There's no bear on the planet that would sell this at 3,900. Makes no sense at all. So bulls buy or bulls don't buy. That's your next trade. Now, if you're a scalper, you're using that information to scalp, right? So you're watching this very, very closely for what? The tiny little sign of get down to support, and if it turns green, you're going to buy it. Jam your stop at the bottom and pray. That's what a scalper is going to do. And it's going to go up for almost an hour. Okay. See it grind? Good luck with the alchemy. See? Look at this. Up, beep, beep. Right off the line, guys. Right off the line. Look, exactly off the line. Okay, so what happens now? I don't know. Morning, Manus. NP says, I find it interesting how deregulation movement in crypto will crash it, and some regulation will most likely make it better. Yes, if you want institutional money, it has to be regulated. You have to move away from some libertarian locked in his cabin with his guns and planning for the end of the world or something, or the overthrowing the government or something, right? Now libertarians don't actually. I'm mixing two kind of people, but I don't know. What do you call the extreme Republicans that lock themselves in cabins with machine guns and they do want to overthrow the government? I don't know what you call them. They're not libertarians. But anyways, those guys. Look, we got to move it. Okay? We got to move it from the I don't know, let's say innovative and early adopters and criminals and doomsdayers and radicals and the preppers. Yeah, sure. Especially if you play Far Cry. I like Far Cry 5. I think that's the best game ever made. I used to love finding prepper stashes. I'm like, oh, look, they left a magazine for me. Oh, and some money. So for the industry to grow beyond these early adopters, and there's lots of different people that adopted crypto early on for various different reasons. Okay? Some of it nefarious. Okay, great. So if we are going to make it legitimate, you have to legitimize it. Okay? And so, yeah, if you want not just blockchain to survive, but some sort of form of payment infrastructure to survive, aka a currency. Remember, blockchain isn't a currency. You think that's libertarian? It's not actually. But from what, as much as I know of the libertarian ideologies, I don't know all of them. I've never been to a libertarian meeting. But I like a lot of it. I like a lot of it. I think if I ran for the first Canadian president of the United States, I'd probably go either Republican or libertarian. Now, you can't become president of the United States if you're Canadian or libertarian. So I might as well run as a libertarian. They're like, you can't run for president of the United States. You're Canadian. I'm like, yeah, but I'm libertarian. Either way, I can't win. But I think the libertarians need a makeover. Huh? I think there needs to be a makeover. Probably all new leadership, a new way of thinking, a new way of branding, a whole new thing. But I think the basic premise of it is like the government is set up and will collect some taxes to provide for a military for your safekeeping so a foreigner doesn't take all your private property. But your personal private property is your personal private property. But here's what I like. If you want to keep guns in your house, keep guns in your house. It's your right. If you want to get an abortion, get an abortion. It's your right. If you want to paint your hair blue, paint your hair blue. If you want to marry the same sex, marry the same sex. It's you, man. What if the government doesn't have a say with that? You lose your job? Well, you should have saved money. Government doesn't care about that either, right? Right? That kind of stuff. It's just like, do you, but just stay out of my crap. And if you step on my property to take what I own, the government's going to back me up and stop you, whether you're a foreigner or my neighbor. You can't take my stuff. You can't tell me what to do. I can't say it's perfect, but the basics of that I like. Right? That's the part I kind of like. And I think it's really confusing when the Republican Party says you have the right to carry a weapon, but you don't have the right to get an abortion. I'm like, how can, what? Like, it's confusing to me. It should be like, you should be able to make any choice you want. It's not up to the government to tell you to wear a mask or to carry a gun or whether you can get an abortion or not. It's not a government issue. It's a family issue. If your family decides that's the best decision, then that's your family's right. And I kind of like that. So I don't mean to go political. I just mean like, I like that idea that somebody doesn't show up at my door and say, well, we disagree with you, so we're going to shut you down. You're like, disagree with me? You don't even, what? So anyways, it's just that, it's too confused. Everything else seems to be too confusing. Like I thought in New York City, for example, and lots of my favorite places in the world died because of COVID in New York City. Some of my favorite places. And like if you were a restaurant in New York City, you were required to shut down during COVID. Well, what if you said, well, look, I want to stay open. My cook wants to stay open. My waitresses and waiters want to stay open. My busboy wants to stay open. And I have customers that want to eat here. Like everybody wants to keep their job. Why can't we stay open? Oh, for the protection of everybody. Well, look, we're not asking for handouts. Just we have customers that want to show up. Maybe it's half as many customers. Well, then we'll have half as many staff, but that'll be half as many people needing a stimulus check. You know, I'm like people wanted to stay open. No, you have to shut down and you have to take this free money. And now we're going to have inflation. And you're like, oh my God. So anyways, a lot of that I just didn't like. I just didn't like it. If you wanted to stay open as a restaurant owner, you're down to just a skeleton crew and a few customers a day, then what was wrong with that? Okay? Thank you, Robin. Vote for Wayne. Dusty, hindsight's 2020. Expand on that, because I'm not sure what you mean if you're talking to me or someone else in the chat. That's not hindsight. That is, if you wanted to die of COVID exposure, why not? You just have to pay for your own funeral. And if you go to the hospital, it costs you 50 grand, you got to pay for it. And if you're like, well, I don't have 50 grand, I can't afford to go to the hospital, well, then don't get sick. Wear a freaking mask. If you can't afford to get sick, wear a mask. Why? To protect yourself from a $50,000 liability. Not because the government told you to, right? So it's just like, that's all. The interesting thing about economics is it's the study of scarcity and the decisions you make. So if you don't have scarcity in your life, like you can just go to the hospital and someone else will pay for it, then why not get sick? Doesn't matter. But if in other countries, you don't go to the hospital when you get sick because if you don't have any money, so you do whatever you can to not get sick. I like that idea. Protect yourself from getting sick because you can't afford it. So it's not the right or wrongness of it. It's how humans behave. It's the behavioral finance of that. You see? So again, not a political statement, an economic statement. If there's no negative consequence, then you don't change your behavior. You're like, if I get sick, it's not a problem. But if there is a consequence, you change your behavior. It's like the Hawthorne effect of if you think somebody's watching you, whether it's true or not is irrelevant. If you think somebody's watching you, you change your behavior. That's it. If you think they might be watching you, you change your behavior. Because there's a consequence. People are judging you. And you're like, I don't want to be judged. What if they say I'm bad? All that kind of stuff. So it's, it's that kind of human psychology that leads to behavioral finance. And I love behavioral finance. Okay. All right. So anyways, there's our little scalp. Can I get a little high five for the scalp off my line? It literally happened 1 minute after I dropped into the 1 minute, said there was a line and somebody wants, right? You can't sell it there. So somebody's going to buy it. And it popped up. Not a lot, but look, some. Now the next part is, will it hold? Well, that I don't know. It could do one of these, or it could do one of these. But once again, nobody sells in here. Okay. Matus says, if you get sick of COVID, you have to pay. Are you going to board it? Well, I don't know anything about that. I think if you right? Yes, if you want an elective surgery, you should pay for it. Yes. Yes. I never said anything about free. I don't like anything free. Okay? All right. Okay, look at that. Look at that. But that's the real issue. Okay, that's fine. I don't know what the real issue here, but if you're like, that's the real issue, okay. But I don't hear that. I hear right or wrong. But I don't follow the news in great detail, so I can't get into an argument beyond that. Okay? That you should have the right to do what you want to do, but you should also, if you're going to be a part of society, you should be able to take care of yourself. Okay? Otherwise, you're not part of society. You're a drain on society. You can't take care of yourself. You're a drain on society. Other people have to take care of you, like your mommy and daddy. Oh, look at that. Well, if society has to be your mommy and daddy, then you should lose other rights. All right. Anyways, check that out. Bringing that down. Medical is a big ripoff. Okay. So, let's say there's two people in America. One is an entrepreneur. Okay. Entrepreneur. And the other one is a worker. They have a job. Okay. They work for a company. An entrepreneur takes care of themselves. Okay, great. And a worker works for somebody and gets a paycheck. Hey, fine. The difference when it comes to health insurance. The worker gets most of theirs paid, either all of it or most of it. Okay? And whatever that costs the company or the worker, take that and add $12,000 per year. So whatever it costs the employer and or the employee, take that number and it's $12,000 more if you own your own business and you're a small business owner. Now that's BS right away, isn't it? Then you find out you're a diabetic. Hey, 50% of Americans are diabetic. You have type 2 diabetes. Too bad, so sad. But, 50% of everybody is going to be a type 2 diabetic in America. Okay? So if you work for somebody else, it's not like less of you are going to have type 2 diabetes. Or if you own your own business, it's not like you're going to significantly more entrepreneurs have diabetes. It's prevalent and pervasive throughout society. And statistically speaking, you're just as likely to be a diabetic, type 2 diabetic, if you owned your own business or worked for someone else that owned a business, right? You get this? Except your health insurance costs probably 30% more money, 33% more for the same. Why does it matter who you work for? Do you understand that? That's one amazing thing. One amazing thing. The way it works in America is if you own your own business, you got to pay 33% more for your health insurance. Why? That's stupid. Now, get this. You're a type 2 diabetic and you are prescribed a pill. You have to take one pill a day. Okay? You're a worker. You get your pills and you are charged $15 per month. How much is it for the entrepreneur that spends $1,000 more a month to get health insurance? Okay? $12,000 more a year to get health insurance. So they both have insurance. How much does the entrepreneur have to pay for a drug that 50% of Americans probably need? I mean, think of how pervasive that is. How many pills they make. Like the cost per pill is almost zero, right? What does it cost per month? Per month for the entrepreneur paying $12,000 more? Anyone want to guess? Patrick says 50. Mahir says the same. So I just get screwed on the initial payment. Anybody else want to guess? Triple. So 45. Anybody else want to guess? I could get the piece of paper that shows it. This is me. I'm talking about me. I have the piece of paper. Are you ready? You're not going to believe me. I'm going to put it in pink. Okay? $1,357.98. But if I had a job and relied on somebody else for a living, I'd only pay $15 a month and save $12,000 a year. You don't believe me, do you? It's insane. Some of you guys are like, it can't be $50. That'd be ridiculous. $1,357.98 per month for a drug that 50% of all Americans probably need. 90x magnitudes. 90 times 100%. $9,000%. But you know what? I think you forgot to calculate, Mahir, that for this right, I have to pay another $1,000 a month. So I'm actually, when you add it up, instead of paying $15 a month, I'm paying close to $2,400 per month because I'm an entrepreneur. More. That's not total. More. $2,400 a month more. Plus, I have a wife and children. This is just my drugs for my body because I have right? Because my cell walls don't absorb sugar efficiently. I have insulin. My body just doesn't use it very well. So the total cost of my family's health insurance as a small business owner is probably more than many people make in a year. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's unbelievable, huh? Get it through Canada. Yeah. Yeah, Jean-Guy is going to pay my taxes for me, so I get that free medical. Yeah. It's unbelievable. If you're not from the United States, it's unbelievable, right? You're like, that cannot be true. Okay? Cool. Just another reason to maybe be in the top 1%. Okay, now can I get some love on how to scalp a 1-minute chart? Huh? Now can I get some love? Did you click the thumbs up button? Look it. It's like to the exact price. Pachow, 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 pachow. Look at this one. Kicking right off the roll reversal. Pachow, 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 pachow. Yeah, just try getting an appointment for sure. There's a joke in Canada. You go see your primary doctor and they're like, oh my God, I think you might have cancer. But there's nothing I can do for you until you see a specialist to confirm. So you get on the list and you get an appointment 9 months later. So 9 months later, you go see the cancer specialist. They scan you and they're like, oh my God, you have cancer. Well, if you were here 6 months ago, I could have saved you. Okay. 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 Cool. Cool, Modi. No, you didn't click the thumbs up button? I get no love for setting that up? All right. Fine. Yeah. Hey guys, be careful on the chat debates. It's so easy to be misunderstood in chat because A, you're on the other side of the world than the other person. B, the messages are typed very quickly and shortly and sometimes poor grammar. So it's so easy to misunderstand each other. You don't know the tone of voice. You don't know the body language. And so very often we can misunderstand each other, step on each other's toes, and then all of a sudden we got a pissing match. Okay, just be careful. I'm not saying that's what's happening now, but just realize it's different. If we were in a room together having a cocktail, we could have a more open discussion and even debate with each other, but not get angry or insulting and all that kind of stuff. It's too easy to do that here. So if we feel like we're getting close to that, just end the conversation, please, and just check the negativity at the door, because it's too easy for it to go the wrong way from But like I said, if we're having a cocktail somewhere and you can look me in the eyes and disagree with me, I'm cool with that. Let's talk about it. And if it felt like it was getting tense, we would normally just back off. Okay? So just be careful, okay? Yeah. No, it's nothing but love, right? Nothing but love. There's plenty of other places, right? Yeah. Cool. All right. So that's that. War zone. Chat. Yeah, no, it's all love, right? Trucking Mogul's the same way, right? But I'm telling you, chat is chat. And I think in our world, chat's becoming a replacement for communication, but chat's not really communication. They're short texts. You can't have a proper debate without looking somebody in the eye and reading their body language, hearing their tone of voice. You can't have a deep intellectual debate without that. Otherwise, we're just going to misunderstand each other. And there's no point in debating if we don't understand the other person's point of view. So be careful. That's all. All right. So that's that. Let's go through some of the dollar pairs, I guess. Or should we watch the scalp go to the next level up? Boom! New higher high on the 1 minute scalp. Jean-Guy in his accent. I like accents. One accent I can't seem to get get or be able to replicate is the French Canadian accent. I don't know why I can't get it, but Sometimes it's really good. Sometimes. I had a friend in the 90s when I was in college in California, and he was from Paris, and he was talking about how he was watching a French-Canadian movie in Paris, and it had the subtitles. I just thought that was funny. It's in French, of course, but a Parisian, right? Yeah, anyways. Johnny's like, syntax is so important. Yeah, and syntax and context, but also you'll notice that when we're having, when you're in person and you're having a complicated conversation like a debate, we usually state our point of view, back it up with some sort of facts, and then almost always repeat ourselves. Almost always. Someone has to say everything twice. It actually drives me nuts. So I'm like, I got it the first time, but it's just what we do. But we don't do that in chat. So it's just like, it's too quick, it's too easy, and it's just not right. And you miss the syntax, the context, the language, there's so much we miss. You just can't do it in chat. But I know I have a friend that is on Reddit, and they write 14 paragraph responses to people's 27 paragraph points of view. Chat doesn't do that either, huh? All right. So anyways, let's go back into the scalp. I feel like just watching the scalp for a while. Okay. There's the role reversal. Okay. And the one we're watching now, of course, is this one. Okay. Got the twang. Country twang. Hey, I'm in the South, so lots of people, you run into people that are locals, right? I'm like, oh my God, you're a local boy, and from the accent, right? And so it's always pretty cool. You get, there's people from all over now, Georgia, right? But you'll run into locals that have been here for 7 generations, and you get that accent, right? And I can't do the accent very well, but you always find out like the guy's name is Eddie, but you can call him Scooter. My name's Eddie. Everybody calls me Scooter. You're like, Scooter, how do you get from Eddie to Scooter? Right? But anyways, yeah, welcome to the South. Princey's recovering 2 months in the hospital. Wow. Yeah, accents are interesting, but I think vernacular is more interesting. There's all kinds of things. Like, I was at the Home Depot the other day buying something, and the woman checking me out went, and I'm like, she's from horse country. She just did it like, I forget what it was. I made a joke or something, and she went just automatically. And I think she was telling me to get the hell out of there. but I'm like, she talks to horses. I'm like, oh, how interesting, right? And so I'm like, where's she from? She's not from here, all that, maybe she's from Kentucky or Tennessee, and, maybe generations ago, right? Or something, but she's got that, talks to animal vernacular, which I thought was pretty interesting. She was also pretty slow at checking me out. So I'm like, okay, here's Speedy Gonzalez here, ain't from the big city, right? She's got to say everything wrong. And she was just a little bit slower. So I'm like, all right, here's somebody that knows how to feed a horse. Stand there for 15 minutes holding the bucket. I'm like, dude, put the bucket down. Let the horse eat on its own. If it can't eat it out of the bucket, then It's going to die. But whatever, it was just, you could, from behavior and little things like that, you're like, I wonder what her story is. And so more than an accent, your word choices and stuff tell a lot about not even just you, but maybe your parents, maybe your grandparents. It's just interesting. The way you dress very often is class. We'll show you class or not. Okay, let's go dollar pairs. Okay. Big changes here. Ba-doop, ba-doop. Okay. Notice the breakthrough, the 4-hour 21. What does that predict? Okay. Very nice. Off the top, by the way. Aussie dollar, off the top. Now, this is important. So I looked at pound dollar, I looked at Aussie dollar. When this was ripper strong, going up like a rocket ship on Sunday, we talked about the meaning of the price where we were. And if you had to go long, you had permission. But then what happened? You had permission on Monday. We were talking about it on Sunday. You could buy the dip. You could buy the 100%. Okay. Then what? Old man easing to the hot bath, then the drop down, then the up, the strong sell and down. Just like the gold, I guess it was. That's an old man easing into a hot bath. Reversing at a price you would expect it to reverse. Not that you know it's going to reverse. I never purport that I know it's going to reverse. I can tell you the reason we use this tool is it says this is very often where reversals happen. So it didn't look like that on Sunday, right? But here we are Thursday, and sure enough, Monday says, I don't know what it is to struggle so much with multiple time frames. When I get on a 15-minute, I lose my hard time frames. Well, that's because you don't have a fundamental bias, Monday. That's easily fixed. If you're a member of FX Bootcamp, we're doing the swing trading group tonight. If you're in the swing trading group, I'll help you. A-Rod says not everybody. I'm not sure why you would say that. I'm not sure what you're saying. Let me know. A-Rod. Yeah, not many people have a Harvard degree. It's true. I have one and I'm on your team. So that's going to actually have two. So I'm on your team, right, A-Rod? So that's good. I think 98% of applicants to Harvard are rejected. In my program, it was more than 99% were rejected. But all that matters is I'm on your team. And if that's good, you're like, dude, that's good. This guy's in the top 1% of everyone. Good. Well, I'm on your team, so you picked well, I think. You might discount it and say, I would never hire that asshole. He has a Harvard degree. Oh, well, okay. Shoot. But I missed your point, though, A-Rod. It must have been something that I said, so maybe I came across wrong. But anyways, looking at this, okay, once again, it's simply a red flag, right? So Monday was still bullish, and I gave permission to be bullish, and I described why. But then by Tuesday we hit, then it dropped. Okay, by Wednesday it triple topped, and here we are Thursday, and it's come down. But you have to understand that's what this means. It's not that it will happen; it can. Yeah, the view. Yeah, Well, yeah, no, but I've always been inquisitive that way. Like, very often I'm misunderstood because I know I come across as an arrogant jerk, but I'm not in my heart. And I love people's stories. I want to know where you came from. I want to know very often what you think if you have rationale behind it. As soon as it just becomes just raw opinion and you're like, you're all Fox News or you're all CNN, I just fade. Like, I just fade away. I'm like, that's not your opinion. And I just walk away, right? Like, you're just rehashing someone else's nonsense. But if you truly have an opinion, I love it. Tell me everything about it. I ask people questions all the time. How's the economy doing? How's business going? How's this and how's that? How are customers? Hey, big tippers or no small tippers, right? I talk to everybody. What are you buying? What are you doing this? Where are you doing that? Why are you going there? Okay, everybody. I'm very, very interested because I can learn. Okay. So I don't think that's a Harvard thing. It's not like I was taught that. The sun finally came out. Beautiful. Anyways, so look, that's what these tools are used for, and they were helpful. Okay. USD CAD, once again, triple bottom, higher high. Great. So maybe I buy a higher low today. Great. Cool. How lovely is that? I think that's it. I think I've done. I probably already said too much. I probably stuck my foot in my mouth about 3 times, maybe 4, maybe 5. I probably insulted somebody. So I'll quit while I'm not too far behind. But if you're in my swing trading group, if you're in my day trading group, guess what? We meet today at 4 p.m. for the greatest meeting of the week. It's so fantastic. I'm looking forward to seeing you and seeing how you're doing. I can't wait to see what you're thinking, how you're trading. We have lots to talk about. So I can't wait to see you there. And for everybody, look, it's $99 a month. You're going to meet with twice a week. One that acts more like a feedback coach. Okay? And another one that helps you not in the tactics, but more the strategy. So think about this. If you join FX Bootcamp and then upgrade your account to the swing trading group, it's like you get to meet with Axelrod and the performance coach. What's her name? Does anyone remember? The performance coach. I can't remember her name. And then Johnny's right too. You get to meet other traders like yourself from all around the world, and you'll learn as much from the other traders as you do from the coaches. It's such a good crew. Nobody remembers. Oh, what the heck was her name? Billions? Nobody watches Billions anymore? I guess it's well over, huh? I can see her face. Somebody's Googling it right now, huh? Well, anyways, you get a performance coach. Not Wags, no. The woman that was the Taylor. Not Taylor. The psychologist, the performance coach. who is also dominatrix. Best performance coach ever. Wendy. It's Wendy. Yeah, Wendy. So you get to meet with Axelrod and with Wendy every single week. Tuesdays and Thursdays, for hours at a time. You're going to love it. I'm telling you. Join FX Bootcamp. Upgrade your account to the swing trading group, and you will get way more value. Way more value than $99 a month. I promise you that. Have a great day. See you at 4, everybody. Cheers.